So I've been thinking about this within the context of my videos. When I try to make videos chronologically, where each one stems from a previous one, I don't want to be constantly repeating myself, saying things in like episode 5 episode 5. I'm not really doing episodic type content, I'm just doing content that derives from previous content. I don't want to be repeating myself and saying things that I have already said in a previous video, because I've already said it in that video and this video stems from that video, but also making each video as a standalone. You're not going to watch my content in order. Or most people aren't. Sorry. I'm not gonna make assumptions about you. You can do whatever you want. If you want to watch my content in order, cool. The fact that there's anyone at all watching is really cool. And actually, I wanted to have a brief interruption of today's video just to thank everyone that's coming onto the channel, all the new people. There's been quite a few new people lately. I think we had 7 new people in the last couple weeks. So welcome. Hi. I appreciate you. I appreciate your interest in checking out my videos, and anyone that's sharing my videos with more people. That's awesome. Back to the main topic of today's video is I'm trying to make each video its own video, that you don't have to go watch a different video, because I have no idea which one you're going to see first. I have no idea which one you're going to want to watch, and maybe this one stems from that one, but maybe you only have interest in this one and you don't want to go watch that one for context. So then I do have to repeat myself in many videos because you're not going to go watch that one, or you don't want to go watch that one, or whatever. And so it's like I have to include all the information in this video for this video to make sense and stand alone on its own. Also, I see it as not that bad for me to make a second video about something that I've already made a video about, because there are new people on the channel. And this is not just now, but like in the grand scheme of YouTube, let's say 8 years from now, if I just suddenly get like 500,000 subscribers or something, then it would be totally fine for me to remake old videos, because people aren't going to go back and watch videos that are 8 years old. Well, some people do, but the majority of people won't. And also I will just be better at my craft by that point, and I can remake the videos then. So that's something I've been thinking about lately, is trying to strike this delicate balance between leaving some information out to give incentive for you to go watch the other video for context, but also including enough information that each video stands on its own and is good enough as it is. And it's very, very difficult. It's a very delicate balance. But all of that, of course, is within the context of me making videos. This same general concept applies to pretty much everything in life. Each video within a series being good enough to stand on its own and not need the rest of the series makes the video better, and having each of them be able to stand on their own, not needing each other, makes them all better and makes the whole series better. And so the same general concept applies to everything in life. That, say you're working in a team, if you have the skill set to be able to handle everything on your own and not need your teammates, that makes you a better team member. If every member of the team is of this skill level where they don't need anyone else in the team, then you're able to work together and become a better team for it. A better team is created by better team members. I also find this applies within relationships as well. If you are uncomfortable being single and you are dependent on being with this partner, then you don't really have an identity as a person, as your own standalone self. You require this other person as part of who you are. And so then that other person isn't dating a person. They are dating a dependent. It's like dating a child. Oh, I just realized that. I have never worded it that way to myself in my mind while thinking about it until I just said it out loud. You are literally like dating not just a child or an immature person, but almost like your own child, because that person is dependent upon you. But if you are completely okay with being single, if you are completely comfortable with who you are in yourself, if you have taken the time away from relationships, if you've taken the time to figure yourself out first, then you can be a better partner, because you are literally a partner. You are not a dependent. You are your own person and they are their own person, and each of you not relying on the other makes you better as a person, and being better at being alone makes you better at being together, because then this is like an actual person that you're dating. They have interests, they are a person all of their own, and they have a personality, and this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I have personally experienced this type of relationship dynamic because I was the one being dependent on the other person. My entire identity was that I was dating this other person. I was allowing my depression to force me to quit all of my hobbies, all of my interests. I didn't do anything with my time. I didn't have any career aspirations. I didn't have very many other friends. I'd kind of given up on all of them because I was depressed at the time. And, I mean, at the time and now and kind of always. But anyways, my entire self was wrapped up in I am dating this person. And so they weren't dating a person. I wasn't a person. I was a dependent. I was like a child. It was ridiculous. And it was not a good time to enter into a relationship because then my entire identity was dating this other person. And obviously it hurt when they broke up with me, but I needed that to just shake me up and get me back to like figuring out life on my own. And in the exact same way, this also applies to normal friendships as well. If you are afraid of upsetting your friend and afraid of losing that friend because being friends with that person is a part of your identity, then you are unable to be a good friend to them because you aren't your own person that they can be friends with. They are just friends with someone who is friends with them. They are not friends with a person who is a person all of their own. So the best obvious way of gauging this is, are you comfortable insulting your friends? Burning them. Not literal burning, but like, ooh, burn. Do people say that anymore? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, if you can't be completely and brutally honest with your friends, are you even friends? If you can't tell them the truth, even when it's gonna hurt them, are you even friends? Because if you're truly friends, you would be willing to tell them the things that they need to hear, regardless of how it's gonna make them feel. At least that's what I want. If I did something wrong and I didn't realize it, I wouldn't want my friend to suffer for it and not tell me because he'd be afraid of upsetting me. I would want to know that I'd done wrong without realizing it. I want them to give me those sick burns. I want that legitimate criticism. If you can't criticize your friends, are you even friends? If you aren't able to be completely comfortable with them, are you even friends? If you're so insecure in your own body that you're not allowed to be comfortable with them, are you even friends? If you can't have gay sex with your friends, are you even friends? Alright, wait, hold on. And last but certainly not least, if I take this general concept and apply it to all of life, the grand scheme of life, we live in a society. If each and every one of us are individually capable of doing all the things that we need to do, that we don't need other people to survive, we can do things on our own, we have the skill sets to be able to figure things out for ourselves, then each of us not needing each other can then work together and do better as a result of not needing to be together, if that makes any sense. I don't really know any other better way of explaining this. And of course, the number one criticism of this concept that I'm proposing is the idea of specializing. So like, let's say you have a town of people a couple thousand years ago or whatever, and one guy just happens to be really, really good at farming. Then it makes sense for him to just do all the farming and everyone else to just not do farming. Everyone else can go do whatever thing they are really, really good at and contribute to the society as a whole. And that's kind of the basis of our society as a whole. This guy's really good at this, so he does that, so no one else has to, because he does it for everyone. Same thing for everyone. Each individual person is really, really good at the one thing that they do, and they don't have to think about any of the other things, because for every other thing there is someone else that is really good at it and will do it for them. And this works, obviously. That's the type of world we've lived in for thousands of years, basically ever since the invention of agriculture. But we have lost something along the way. Honestly, the problem with both what I presented at the beginning of this video and what I have just now said as the counter argument is the extremity, the extreme version of each. If you have someone who is extremely self-reliant and actually doesn't need anyone else, and if you have everyone having that mentality, then you lose the efficiency of having one person really good at one thing, because all of the time that you spend on other things is detracting from the one thing that you could be really really good at. So you don't really want everyone to be good at everything because you lose the efficiency. So in that sense, it doesn't make sense for each person to be capable of doing everything. On the contrary, for the counter argument here, if you have each person only really capable of doing one thing, then for every other thing that they are not specialized in, they will say, someone else will do that. But if you have everyone with the mentality of, someone else will take care of those things, I only care about this, I don't care about anything else, someone else will get it, you create a society of laziness. Because there are many things that someone needs to specialize in, but no one is. Because everyone says, someone else will deal with that, I just do this. And so then there are a lot of things that get ignored. And so that's where you end up with the concept of be the change you want to see in the world. If you see something that does not have enough people specializing in it and being really good at that one thing, then I would go so far as to say that the fact that you have noticed that need is underserved in society gives you the responsibility to be the person to do that thing, to solve that problem. Just the fact that you notice the problem and no one else is even willing to acknowledge it, or maybe they're willing to acknowledge it, but they don't care enough to do anything about it. The fact that you've noticed it makes you responsible to do something about it, because no one else will. And so the real core difference between these two is who is willing to take responsibility. If you have everyone doing this, then no one is taking responsibility for everything and things fall through the cracks. But if you have everyone doing this, then no matter what, everything will have someone willing to do something about it. And so obviously the ideal is somewhere in the middle, but I personally would say maybe a little closer to this side. And that probably has to do something to do with the fact that our society is a little bit closer to this side, like a lot of bit closer. And so we need more people this way in order to balance out a little bit, you know? Balance. It's good stuff. This is definitely like a framework of sorts that I want to dive into later, but I want some more time to digest it before I begin to dissect it. And then after which I will digest it some more. I hope that makes sense. But at least then I would have the insert word that I can't think of right now to be able to help other people begin to digest it. I think that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, let me know what you think about this concept down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. Share this video with anyone else you think might find this interesting, and take care.